Yo, what's going on, everybody? HCAK Higher Thinking here. Back online, finally. Finally back online. Finally back in action, man. It's been a long it's definitely been a while. I definitely been up to other goods. I definitely got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, man. Trying to keep up with trying to keep this stuff going because it gets so annoying sometimes, man. I've been going so many days. It's been so many times I've been trying to stream, something's going wrong, and then I gotta then I lose focus. I lose my attitude gets to me and stuff like that. The frustration builds up, and I'm just like, man, I can't. But like we finally got everything running again. It seems like I've definitely been making some mistakes regarding like um this is just like how I kind of been the thing like just leaving my computer on. Just I don't know what the heck's been going on, but it's like every time I try to get back into streaming and everything, some seems to go wrong, man. But we are finally back. We are finally back, and actually everything is seem to be running just fine. So anybody, if there's anything issues with my audio, if there's any issues with anything that's going on, please let me know as soon as possible. Um, anything new for me? Not too much. Just definitely got some things. Definitely got some things in the brew. Um, Definitely going to be a lot of interesting conversations, a lot of interesting topics along the horizon, a lot of interesting people that you're gonna be running to. My podcast um hasn't completely launched yet, but we do have a pilot episode already up to the Chicago Black Delegation podcast. I will be putting a link in the description or the comment section. So please check that out. But so far, it's only the pilot episode that's out, and man, we definitely went in, man. 1 second. I don't know why this thing always messes up. Oh, that thing must be dead. Oh, oh no, my freaking light. My light went out. Oh well, it's fine. Anyway, a podcast semi launch. Like I said, we got the pilot episode is out. Just to kind of see how everybody kind of feels about it. So check that out as soon as you can. Leave your opinions about it. All of that cool stuff, man. Um, Otherwise, as far as this channel, um, yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting because I definitely have some things I really need to be talking about that. Just got done watching FD Signifier, right? And his critique of black conservatives, and man, there's a lot to talk against there. You know what I mean? There's some points he's made, some things he said that I do see to be accurate. I you know um that's one thing I can say about the leftist spaces and stuff like that. They know their black talking points. They know their black history, and that is really really important. You know what I mean? Because on the opposite spectrum, the right wing and all of those guys, everybody to the right of them, it's like it seems like the further right you get on the political spectrum, the less likely you are to indulge in black empathy. You know what I mean? Or empathy for blacks, or at the very least, the ability to um, right go into the black struggle and understand to a deeper level. You know what I mean. So hold on a second. So what was I saying? Um, so like I was saying, man, they know they black talking points, and it's like the further you get right of these leftist spaces, the less empathy, right, that is that you're seem to be able to you seem to be able to find any all right, let me just try to rephrase this. From these leftist talking spaces, right? They seem to be the quite literally the masters of Black history. Like they at the very least are very studied, well versed on Black struggles or Black history, right? And I'm talking about the deeper, not just like oh yeah, like the front, like the surface level information that we all know about Black people and stuff like that. Like the stuff you kind of hear from growing up in schools and stuff. All of that stuff. They took what's known about Black people and essentially taught how do I put this in words? They did the deep dives. Let's just keep it simple. They've done the deep dives as far as Black history, right? And it seems right, or at least on YouTube, these people have. It seems that the further you get from these leftist spaces, it seems that that empathy for blacks, that desire to understand blacks as a community, as a culture of people, seems to go down. Right? It's like it start at the leftist. It starts at the very peak at the leftist spaces on YouTube at least, right? And it seems to just go down, right? And so it gets to the point where a lot of people seem to believe that the only place to get these type of conversations, to get to understand blacks on a deeper level, the way that we should be understood, is from these left spaces, these leftist spaces. And I don't think that's wrong for people to learn. If you want to learn Black history your own way on YouTube from people from any group, social groups. It could be anybody. I personally don't care where you learn accurate Black history from, as long as it's accurate, right? Um, but there's caveats to that, right? Because let these people let these people go. How do I start? How do I frame this? Let them let them be like the arbiters, like let leftist YouTube be the place to get Black information. And there's gonna be things that there's gonna be. How do I put this in words? It's like it can spiral down from there. It can be it can be a slippery slope. You know what I'm trying to say? So like Black history is Black history no matter who tells it. Now, if all the Black history is being funneled into or is made popularized by leftist spaces, that gives leftists free range to add or trickle in their own narratives, their own opinions, their own narratives to or and agendas to this thing that we need to empathize more strongly on Black, the Black strike, the Black plight, right? And I just found that to be, I'm worried about it. It depends on the intelligence of the people that's watching, and I can say that, but like the last time I said, I kind of gave like I kind of gave free range to people to figure things out for themselves, or what I mean to say is, the last time I trusted, right, the world to be smart enough to essentially take information and then essentially just dismiss the rest. You know what I'm trying to say? Just take the meat and leave the bones. The divestment community happened. So, like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, I was very, very, very involved into like black women empowerment spaces, divestment spaces, sorority spaces, like you name it. Black women spaces, I was in it. Mostly trying to learn and mostly this fighting against the misinformation. You know what I mean? And I was trying to tell my friends about like what's been going on. Like, hey, there's a lot of black women out here that just outright hate black men. It's like, and it's like, it's one thing to bring up grievances about black men, and that's fine. That's arguably there's nothing wrong with that. However, it's another thing when when these groups of people are more or less shooting information off the hip and it not even needing to be in alignment with reality. A lot of things that I was hearing within these black women empowerment spaces was literally rooted in delusion, you know, and that's why I feel like my presence was needed in those spaces. Whether I got through to some of them, probably not, but at the very least, I hope that those one or two likes, you know what I'm saying, was just enough for some of those young ladies to see an alternative a perspective on a lot of information they were taking in these YouTube in these opinion pieces about these women. Of course, these things I was expressing the word again opinions and stuff like that, but I don't know. I think I like the word observations better. I'm digressing my booty off. So we're gonna talk more about divested space. We're gonna talk more about black struggles and all this other stuff at a later time. Um, Regarding today, I want to do one small little transition before that. Um, yeah. Well, regarding today's message, we're going to be talking about J.K. All right, J.K. Rowling is a person that needs no introduction. Excuse me. She's an award-winning author of a generally well-received Harry Potter books, generally mid-received Harry Potter films, and profits from a generally mixed received video game Hogwarts Legacy. For a pretty fun game in my opinion. I say mixed because this is where the loudest voices decided to speak up against this woman. Why? Well, that's why we're gonna have this conversation. So before we dive in, I want to define some key terms here. Oh wait, not this one. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to talk about what a turf is. We got to talk about what a turf is. There's been a lot of talks of turfs. Uh, Everybody's turf. If you've been saying anything mean about this rainbow coalition of folks, right? Well, pseudo rainbow actually. If I apply some of my spiritual knowledge in this, pseudo rainbow coalition of folks. If you say anything that's against what their against their narratives surrounding trans rights and stuff like that, you're likely gonna be a turf. That's probably a good way of explaining like what's happening, right? I won't be able to find that word right now, unfortunately. But what's happening right now is people are labeling people with things instead of engaging conversations, right? If you say something that has a point and the other person is unable to refute the point, you're gonna get hit with a label, and that's gonna be that. And they're gonna tell you something that they're gonna try to tell you. They're gonna try to convince you to be more sympathetic towards these people. My opinion, sympathy is not given. It should be earned. That's my opinion regarding sympathy. Empathy is for all. Everybody deserves empathy. Everybody. Empathy does not mean sympathy, though. If you empathize with somebody, you're understanding their struggles. You're understanding what led to the struggles. You understand, and you may even have like some solutions for them and stuff like that. But for the most part, you understand why what's happened to this person. I'm sorry. Regarding to people, right? You understand how and why somebody is experiencing what they're experiencing, right? And you are acting accordingly. At least you should be acting accordingly. Some people empathize with folk, but they won't act it out, right? It's like you understand the plight of a group of people, yet you still villainize their every act for an advancement. I label those people as evil, to be honest, but it's my opinion. T.E.R.F is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. These people believe that trans folk have no place in women's specific spaces. I believe they have an argument. I believe they have an argument because there's a lot going on right now regarding violence against women in general. Specifically, we're going to talk about what a woman is in a moment. We have to give credence. We have to respect the fact that women are making the observation, right, that there is violence targeting specifically women, right? They're getting raped, they're getting beaten, killed. And that needs to be addressed, right? It's gotten to the point where women only feel comfortable in women's only spaces, like a restroom, like a locker room, right? Anything with a picture of a lady with a dress on, right, and slapped on the door. That those women's only spaces, they feel comfort in these areas, in these spaces. Women's only dormitories, the like, you know what I'm saying? Because there is, I mean, unfortunately, I'm a man, right? And I have to understand, I have to be empathetic to the point of what these women are saying. There is some validity to it. The numbers are not lying. I have to step outside of my bias. I have to step outside all attachment I have with being a man and address and understand that these women, for right now, we will say females. For these females, no, oh God, I forgot, I can't say that. There's the conundrum. Depending on who you talk to, the female can be. We'll get to that point. Hey, women, bear with me for right now. I'm gonna call you females right now, but just bear with me for right now. Females are being attacked, man. All right, biological females, right, are being attacked for being females. All right. Do not conflate the struggles of females with the struggles of female acting males. That's more or less, give or take. That's like the umbrella ideology behind what the T.E.R.Fs are representing, what they want. Yeah, that's more or less like the overarching argument for why women become T.E.R.Fs, so why they're speaking T.E.R.F talking points. Regarding the name itself, T.E.R.F, yeah, it's more or less, yeah, it's a label that that certain groups of people or a group or a type of person with a certain thought pattern, yeah, a lot pseudo rainbow coalition aligned people, they use this term to essentially attack women or feminists that don't believe trans folk belong in their circles. That's the label they toss at these women, right? Um, we can say it's inflammatory. We can say it's a derogatory term, but I'm just not the type of person that's really fixated on the respectability of the words that people use, right? I just don't like if there's a label like here's an example, the word black, right? For a lot of people, the word black is derogatory. You know what I mean? Depending on your understanding of what the word black means, right? Had it being just had it mean like this color right here, this right here, this is a dope ass sweater by the way. This from the I know y'all know Boondocks when y'all see it. But whether you talking about this color right here, or you're referring to a person's affinity towards their biological connections towards Africans, right? Some people don't want to be called black. You know what I mean? So you got like, so with that said, if somebody is exclusionary to trans folk and women's spaces, sure, they're technically a TERF, right? I don't think, depending on what we understand today, if what I'm trying to say is, if what these women are saying is bound in fact and it's in alignment with reality, then you're gonna have to respect what they're saying, despite them being a TERF, right? A TERF. So my thing, so I would say if what you're saying is exclusionary towards trans folks in women's spaces, right? Own it. I mean, black people own the N word all the time. You know what I'm saying? Black people own all types of stuff. Now, when it gets to like maybe like more flat like how do I word this? Like the ER, like hard R's and stuff like that. I can understand the implications, like the racist implications and undertones behind using specific words. And slang and stuff like that. They're like there's emotional baggage that comes along with using such language that kind of that's meant to hurt people, right? So yeah, TERF is meant to hurt people, right? But if what you're saying is still bound in reality, I can say I can make the argument. I guess what I'm trying to say is, owning it. One, I can understand the people that owns this word, right? That's more or less what I'm saying. But I will make room to understand the folks that don't see it that way, right? I can't make room for people that feel that have that feel like that impact of emotional guilt or being or feeling of being attacked when somebody refers to them as a TERF, refers to them as all of these derogatory terms and stuff like that. So let's continue on. Yeah. So we now know what a TERF is. So now talk about this. What is sex? Everybody understand. Everybody understands there's a difference between sex and gender. There are a group of people that are trying to screw this up, trying to muddy things, trying to conflate and all that stuff, and try to make sex to try to devalue the importance of the labeling of sex and how to label sex, right? Where to start? These strip away their credibility. Strip away their credibility. They're now humans, right? Whatever doctrine and how do I word this? Whatever they've earned as a person, pieces of paper, degrees, all of that stuff, they're now reduced, in my opinion, they're reduced to a regular person. I'll still listen to them. I'll still respect their word, right? But I'm gonna be engaging, especially if what they're saying is in alignment with if it's not in alignment with reality. If I don't care what kind of degrees somebody has, what kind of lived experience, all of that stuff. If what they're saying is not bound in reality, I will be challenging that. And I think everybody here should also, because even if I am wrong, I would like to know why I'm wrong. Right? That's how we should go about this. This is what we should be doing as human beings. We should be striving towards understanding better and engaging difficult conversations. Even when we know, even if we have the, even when we know there's a possibility of us being incorrect. Feel me? So let's define sex. Not the first definition, obviously. Sex is defined as either of the two main categories, male and female, into which humans and most other living things are divided on the basis of reproductive functions. Yes, there's some things in the world that have intersex capabilities, like seahorses that give birth, and all of these bacteria, all types of stuff, whatever, right? We need to, but when we're talking about humans, right? We're talking about human beings. We need to understand that there's two of them MFers. And then we need to make, we have to, and then we can also make room for the possibility of intersex. Let's do a real quick search. I mean, let's do a real quick search real quick. Uh, it is estimated that up to 1.7% of the population has an intersex trait, and that approximately 0.5% of people have clinically identifiable sexual or reproduction variations. An intersex trait. I wonder what this means. An intersex trait. So let's define intersex trait real quick, just so I'm on game, because this is actually important. So, but regarding this, yes, there's a population of people that have an intersex traits and have clinically, I'm sorry, and approximately 0.5% of people have clinically identifiable sexual or reproductive variations. Right. So 0.5. There's a population, and there's also a percentage of people, relatively low percentage of people that more or less go against the grain. Right. And I believe there are solutions for these types of people. Right. In my opinion. And I have not. I mean, I'm not really studied up on this. Maybe I'm not the person to ask. I'm not the scientist here. Um, for the things that trans folk are fighting for, striving for, equal footing with women and all that stuff in these sports and all of that stuff, where they can choose whichever one they want to do or whatever like that. Perhaps we can give give the intersex people, the ones that have both parts, I guess, right? Maybe, right, we can give those people those rights to essentially choose which thing to which sports which sex, which gendered or whatever, which sport to partake in. You know what I'm trying to say, right? If an intersex person wants to participate in women's volleyball, let them. You know what I mean? That's just my very, very surface level opinion for right now. So let's check this out. What is intersex trait? Yeah. The term intersex refers to people who are born with genetic, hormonal, or physical sex characteristics that are not typically male or female. Yeah, that's okay. Intersex people have a diversity. Yeah, yeah, we know this. I'm talking about the trait. What do y'all? Come on, Google, get it together, man. Okay. Well, all right. Well, okay. Sorry, you know, intersex. Intersex is gender conditions, man. Yeah, everybody's pretty much gonna say the same thing, but I'm talking about intersex trait. It's like they made like a distinct difference between I mean, the way they structure this. Well, maybe I'll have to go into this article and really check that out. But that's gonna be at another time because right now we're talking about. Right now we're about 30 minutes into this train, man. We ain't really talking about J.K. Rowling yet. So, but yeah, so that there's I mean, I would argue that the people that have intersex traits and all that stuff, they should be the ones. These are the ones that should be speaking up regarding participation in women's spaces. You know what I'm saying? Because they got some other stuff going on that yeah. Anyway, so that sex, right? Two sexes, male, female, possibly small possibility of having two of having either of having both. You know what I'm trying to say. Gender. This is a big one. According to Google and the Oxford Languages, the Oxford Dictionary, gender is to be defined as the male sex or the female sex. We just looked up the term sex. We just saw it. We just saw the words.
Isn't that amazing?
We just saw the definition of the word sex, right? Especially when considered with a reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. Especially when considered with the reference, I'm sorry, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. So that's the caveat. So that's what changes it, right? Now, it started off kind of weird because the basis is sex. It's rooted in sex, but it's more so in line with the we can say the cultural and social differences. So it's more or less in line with what a lot of these people, right? A lot of these um, alternative lifestyle folks have have defined gender as. I personally actually have I personally have started using this ideology in my mentality or in my conversations. Unless I'm talking to somebody that has a different understanding of the word gender. You know what I'm saying? Because the point of communication is to communicate clearly and effectively. Feel me? So if I'm speaking to somebody that gets sex and gender mixed up, then I'll have to be aware of that. I can try correcting them. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, when I know they're talking about gender, I may ask the question, hey, what do you mean by gender? If they say something that's kind of weird, but ultimately, I'll still make room for I'll make room for the likelihood of them using the word sex and gender interchangeably. Anyway, that's why the definition or of range or identities that do not correspond to established ideas of male and female. One a range of other identities that do not correspond with established ideas of male and female. So again, what this allows for is people such as non-binaries, such as the people that go by all these myriad of other pronouns and stuff like that, zer and ger, all this other stuff. This more so helps them out, right? This means that There's more than two. This, I'm sorry. They're arguing this. I'm sorry. This is making room for the argument of there are more than two genders. So I know my conservatives may have some problem with this. I know my conservatives may have some problems with the fact that Google itself is giving some wiggle room for alternative lifestyle people to choose a gender that is not in alignment with male and female sexes. Got to deal with that, and that's fine, right? Because if you're gonna speak the English language, you got to abide by the rules. You understand that, conservatives? Good. So let's move on. Let's go off what we just learned so far. Male and female is to do strictly with sex. Now we're talking about gender. We're talking about other things. We're talking about gender is like kind of like sex 2.0. Gender gives more wiggle room for people with alternative lifestyles that don't live the norm of the cisgendered. What does cisgendered mean? Well, let's find out. Well, it is right here. I ain't got to do that. Denoting or relating to a person whose gender identity corresponds with the sex registered for them at birth, but not transgender. So that means practically means a straight person, right? Somebody that just confirms and conforms to the status quo of what's normalized in their current social society. Men dress a certain way in America, men dress a certain way in India, men dress a certain way in Japan, China, Egypt, all over the world. And women dress differently. Those people are cisgender, and if you co-sign to those ideologies or whatnot, that makes you cisgender. Whatever. All right, that's what people, when somebody labels you, when somebody calls you cisgendered, that's what they mean. Unfortunately, if you don't like it, you unfortunately have to deal with it. Moving on. Who coined this? Who started this conversation regarding cisgender? Like, when did this start? Kind of recent. I mean, depending on how young you are. I mean, I know the 90s for some people was like what I would consider to be the 70s. Like I said, for me, the 90s wasn't that long ago, but I like to just pretend I'm really young. I stopped counting my age after I turned 30. So in English, the term cisgender was coined in '94 in the Usenet news group about transgender topics. On the news group, Dana DeFos, then a graduate student, sought a way to refer to non-transgender people that avoided marginalizing transgender people or implying that transgender people were an other. Which is funny because he found a way to make he found a people to make these people an other by calling them cisgender. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. It just gets wild and more wild and more wild. But ultimately, these are just ways for people to identify themselves as. You know what I'm saying? Whatever label you want to give people to identify them as. This is just all of this. This is all it is really is. It's just ways to identify you. You know what I'm saying? So if because when it gets to a situation where you have to identify a person that committed a crime, you telling the police officer that this person was a cisgendered person, and I'm sorry, the difference between you telling the police officers that the person you're describing is a cis male is gonna make arguably make a word of a difference than you telling the police officer that it's just a male, right? So this person would say, okay, well, that rules out all trans folk or whatever from or non-queer folk out of the discussion on who participate in the crime. It's actually respectable. I believe it's respectable to understand that. You know what I mean? Well, especially in terms of identifying people, because there is structural use for calling somebody cisgendered. Arguably it is. You know what I'm saying? Will I refer to people as cisgendered or cis male, cis female, cis women, whatever? Most likely not. But I understand the people that use this language. I have no argument against it for now at least. I have no argument against it. If you have an argument against it, hey, go crazy. I would love to hear it. So for the most part, sure. We can allow for this. I'll allow this cis thing, whatever. It's ironic that this person has found a way to make the people that's been calling other people other and other. But I don't know. I guess this person just gets off on giving people a taste of their own medicine, whatever. But sure, whatever. Let's move on. We talked about sex. We talked about gender. Let's talk about some very, very, very important words now. This is the part of the conversation that the rainbow, the pseudo rainbow coalition folks is not going to be happy about. Woman. The definition of woman. This is gonna hurt people. This is gonna upset me because the term. Well, you know what? Let me relax. Let me relax first, and then we're gonna get to what is a woman. Matt fucking Walsh. What is a woman? Matt Walsh. All you had to do is Google. That's all you had to do. You didn't have to make that. You did not have to make that documentary. What is a woman to make people angry? All right. You trigger a lot of people, all right? You got people to make 2-hour videos talking berating you, all right? All you had to do was Google. So, all right. This is what a woman is, man. A woman is an adult female human being. We know what a female is. Don't act like you know what a female is. We saw what a female is. A female is to do with sex. Right? I'm not going to look up the word female. We know what a female is. Female is pertaining to sex. We all know this. Look it up if you want to. Waste your time, waste my time, and having a conversation with me if you want to about the word female. Female is to do with sex as an identifier. Get over it. So, moving on. Wrong one. Yeah, wait a minute. An adult female human being. Why are people calling people that were not born female a woman? I'll tell you why. That's why. They're freaking clowns. Pandering and coddling people's cockamamie ideas and opinions is not helping society. It's regressing us. Get over it. Get over it. You're not a woman. By definition, you're not a woman. All right? That's a tough pill to swallow. I understand. I can sympathize to the fact that may be tough for you. That may be a tough pill for you to swallow. There's a lot of things about my own people that I didn't want to know, right? But I had to swallow those pills. We had whatever we understand, whatever we say has to be in alignment with the reality in order for this culture, in order for us to move on as a people. Get over it. Sorry that I had to say it like that. But the people who've been nice to you about, have been calling your feelings and stuff like that, and being sympathetic towards you, as noble as that is, it's not working. And people calling your opinion, your emotions, and your sympathy and your feelings and stuff like that is not progressing us as a society. It's holding us back. There's bigger things we need to discuss in the United States. Way bigger conversations to have other than what a woman is. When it's clear, when it's been the same thing forever. You can't come along and expect people to identify or to subscribe to your ideology or your opinions and stuff like that of something as simple as what a woman is. Before I looked up this definition, I actually drank the Kool-Aid. I'm like, okay, you know what? You know what? They want to use women as an identifier. Sure, it sounds fine. I can, sure, whatever. I'm okay with that. That makes them feel better. Cool. Them change their names. I kicked against that for a long time. I did. I kicked against calling Bruce, calling Caitlyn Jenner. I mean, you know what? That's what they want to identify as. So I'm trying, right? And then I looked up the word woman, and it blew my freaking mind. I'm like, why are these people trying to change reality? You can't do that. Nobody can do that. You can't, like, nobody's gonna sympathize. Nobody, like, no legislation is gonna be crafted on the basis when what you're saying is rooted in actual delusion. That's just the fact of the matter. So these political figures, these YouTubers, all of these people that are trying to coddle these groups of people in favor of their support or whatever agenda or whatever means of way or reasons for them trying to get money. It's a grip. It's really a grip. It's a grift. It's literally a freaking grift. If you say things that are not in alignment with reality, and you know it's not in alignment with reality, and you cannot expound on the reasons why it's not, I'm sorry, if you can't defend their case that's in a way that's rooted in reality, right? You're freaking grifting. I've heard leftists talking spaces literally say, "Hey, I can't speak to the struggles of these groups of people, but I know I have somebody whom you can talk to." You're a freaking grifter. Why would you subscribe to these people when you yourself don't agree with the things that they're saying? For what? Because you're grifting. Even if it's not just for money, you're doing it for support. You're doing it for followers. You're doing it for power, visibility. That's what grifting is. And we need to stop pretending like this grifting thing is going to get us anywhere. It's causing confusion, and it needs to go. Let's move on. Woman is a dope human being. A man is the exact same thing, right? I might look up the word man. Look it up if you want to. If you look up the word man and it's more in alignment with what these other people have been saying, the folks with alternative lifestyles are saying, put it in the comment section. Go crazy. Anyway, in the meantime, for now, what these folks have been saying might be right. Why are we wasting time allowing men in women's spaces? These women have a right to feel attacked. They have a right. These women have a right to feel unsafe because it's literally in the numbers. Men attack women. Men will have to get over that. And I'm not talking about just cisgendered men. I'm also talking about the alternative lifestyle men. Now, don't call them phobic or delusional or paranoid. No, just relax. Understand that men have been attacking women throughout a myriad of generations. Yes, women attack men also, but it's not to the same. It's not equal. Yeah, yes. You can a lot of people yes, you can argue that I'm uh uh a pseudo conservative YouTuber or whatever. You can try to call me conservative or Republican if you want to. But fact of the matter is I still understand what a lot of what the feminists are saying is still true. I'm smart enough to acknowledge that. And I don't grift for anybody. I'm just speaking the truth. Because the truth will set us free. I'm not here to dish out cliches, but what that means is when we align our mentalities with the reality, right? When what we stand is in line with reality, we can move on to more pressing. We can move on our thought pieces and our efforts onto more pressing matters, like the United States economy. All right. This is crazy, man. So let's move on now. Let's move on to the meat and the potatoes of the conversation. No thanks, Glamour Magazine. A complete breakdown of the J.K. Rowling transgender comments controversy.
Boy.
Let's check this stuff out. J.K. Rowling, as I said earlier, an esteemed author of the Harry Potter books. She wrote some other stuff too. Who knows what they are? I don't care. But is J.K. Rowling a TERF? Is she a feminist? Is she a bad person? Let's find out. What did J.K. Rowling say exactly? She said, I'm not gonna read all this. She said things. If you want to know if you want to read this article for yourself, go crazy. It is right here, and I will put it in the. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it in the comment sections, and I will also put it in the description of the video when I create it. So let's put that right here. Bam. There's your article. If I'll probably post later on when other people join in. Anyway, so this is where it all began. I'm gonna try to get through this because I don't want to make this like a 3-hour stream. There was an article shared a while ago, an opinion piece. Ooh, excuse me, where there was a conversation regarding COVID. Right? I shouldn't say that. Goddamn, I shouldn't have said that word. Darn it. F. Um, they were creating. There was a conversation regarding a disease, right? There was that used a certain verbiage that J.K. Rowling had a problem with. Let's read it. Create a more equal post-disease world for people who menstruate. It's up here, right? People who menstruate, birth givers, all that other stuff. And J.K. Rowling she made a pass at it. She made a joke. You know what I'm saying? She says, quote unquote, people who menstruate. I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Woman, whatever, right? She made a joke. And I know I'm not finna be one of those, it's just a joke, bro, guys. I'm not finna do that. She made a hot take and it caused controversy. So much controversy that she felt that she needed to explain herself. And I agree that people should be granted the ability to defend themselves, to explain themselves. Right? Because this is what I'm gonna say this a lot of times because there's gonna be a lot of people I cover that more or less been thrown under the bus that are worth defending, right? You can make an argument that what somebody initially said was hurtful. We can't acknowledge that. That is true. However, However, the message somebody wants to get out is arguably different from what, how do I put this in words? Arguably the message somebody wants to get out is even more important. So regarding somebody's initial like true feelings about on the matter, that's in question. But they can say whatever they want. They can feel however they want. And if you want to agree or say somebody's lying, hey, that's up to you. That's completely fine. I have no argument against somebody that believes that somebody's lying regarding anything, whatever. You can make that argument if you want to. I won't be able to argue against that. However, the message somebody wants to get out to the public regarding their feelings is what's important, because what's important about people is not necessarily their opinions. And arguably, it depending on how much power that person has, that can't be argued. But for influencers, right? People that are using their platforms to influence opinions and stuff like that, what they're saying or what their stance is, it does matter. But how it progresses also matters. And the message that they want to deliver into the public to essentially influence society matters, right? So I want to leave that point to there right now, right? So her initial statement was a joke, right? And it does give some backing as to how she feels about alternative groups of people on the surface level. You know what I'm saying? But let her explain herself. You know what I'm saying? Because her as an influencer, she understands that, hey, what she says matters, and she doesn't want to use her platform to propagate, to influence others to believe that being hateful towards a group of people is in alignment with what's right. So let's see what she says to expound on her real motives, her true intentions, or I'm sorry, not her true intentions, but how she actually feels regarding this subject matter. J.K. Rowling says, if sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth.
Ooh, bars.
That's facts. People should be allowed to use identifiers such as sex, what they understand to be as sex when speaking about other people. Right? If you're gonna call people cisgendered, and I know this is a whataboutism, I apologize. But if you feel comfortable with calling somebody TERFs, if you want to identify people by calling them cisgendered, if you want to identify people as calling them anything outside of what they want to be referred to be as, just for the sake of identifying themselves, you have to open to not be a hypocrite, right? Unless you don't mind being a hypocrite. You're gonna have to be okay with the people identifying you by your sex. Know what I'm saying? So that's what she's saying here. Nothing provocative about what she just said, because it's in alignment with reality. If you take issue with what she just said in this statement right here, it's not her problem. If you have a problem with what she said here, this is the reality.
My pussy aches.
That's the reality here. Your feelings were hurt. And that's not J.K. Rowling's problem. It's not. Now, the fact that you've amassed a group of people that believe like you, that believe the same things as you, that the fact that you've garnered the attention of corporations like Bud, I don't drink beer. I don't know. I'm not gonna put a name out there because I don't want to mislabel any corporations. But the fact that you've amassed this much power off of your feelings alone, off of forcing sympathy on other people alone is remarkable. But it also shows just how screwed up of a society this is. Let's move on. J.K. Rowling also says, if sex isn't real, there's no. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tweaking. She replies to us because she got a lot of comments. I'm not going over those comments. The idea that women like me, who've been empathetic to trans people for decades, feeling kinship because they're vulnerable in the same way as women, i.e., to male violence, hate trans people because they think sex is real and have lived consequences, is nonsense. Trans violence is not the same as women's violence. Trans people are being attacked for not the same reasons women are being attacked for. That is in essence a conflation. When you say women are being attacked and you add trans women into that conversation, that is a conflation. Because the reasons women are being attacked are not in alignment with the reasons trans women are being attacked. They are two different conversations with two completely different solutions. And feminists are fighting for the advance, and feminists are focused on women's issues. And that's perfectly okay. Because women's issues need they need to be focused on. Trans folks are being attacked also. Trans women, yes. Trans women are being attacked also. Trans people are being attacked also. That's true. That conversation needs to be had amongst trans folk. And people should not be attacked for saying trans folk should not speak up for women, should not be speaking for women. We know what a woman is. You understand what I mean by women. You understand what Google means about women. I'm speaking the English language. I'm going to say what's in alignment with what the English language defines women as. Trans women cannot speak up for women. Okay? That's what she's saying here. And again, it's in alignment with reality. And if you have a problem with this reality,
my pussy aches.
that is your problem. You have a problem with your pussy. Hate to break it to you. That is a you problem. Your feelings are hurt. When I heard realities about men and black men specifically,
my pussy aches.
my feelings hurt. It did. But what that also meant was there's work to be done. And in order for me to increase the solutions, not increase the solutions. In order for me to change the realities of men and black people, I had to address this. I had to address the men that were problematic. Instead of calling to their feelings and their emotions and enabling their laziness, right, and enabling their degeneracy, I wanted to offer solutions, right? I want to find solutions. I want to get involved. I want to have conversations. I want people to change their minds. I want to shift the Overton window into a place where it's in alignment with the solutions that's in line with the best solutions. Okay? So, what else does she say? She replies to herself again by saying, I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. Wow. And this is the person y'all feel is anti-trans. Ain't that something? Transphobic. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans.
Isn't that amazing?
At the same time, my life has been shaped by being a biological female. I do not believe it's hateful to say so. That's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. It just is what it is. Why? Because why? Because it's for the reasons I already stated. I'm not going to repeat myself. She's a female. Oops. What just happened? No, don't do this. I guess I can't highlight this. I'm going to just put the mouse over. You know what I'm trying to do here. She's a female, and her life was shaped because of that. If you're a trans person, your life was being shaped by being trans. There's a very big difference between being trans and being a female. That's just the reality of the situation. Okay? Here's a quotation from an anonymous letter from a terrified lesbian. Let me just flex my empathy for a moment. My background is I subscribe to Hebrew Israelite faith, right? And I know what a lot of people believe about Hebrew Israelites, right? That we dress up in these Power Ranger outfits and we shout down white folk and we make them kiss our boots, and there's a whole lot of racism going on. I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions regarding these folks, my brethren, right? Hebrew Israelites. First of all, Hebrews, and it's weird because we give like white passing Semites the grace of allowing them to identify with their beliefs as a race or as an ethnicity. But when you hear the word Hebrew Israelite, when you see these people on the street being arguably problematic towards in general, you call them, that's a Hebrew Israelite. That's and you affiliate, you align that with the bad people, right? You call them racist. You align with all of these things. You know what I'm saying? To the point where if somebody like me calls myself a Hebrew Israelite or Hebrew or Israel, I am in alignment with those people. Kyrie Irving is in alignment with those people. Ye is in alignment with those people. A myriad of people are in alignment with those people that are arguably problematic. I'm gonna get like, and I know I'm digressing, and but I'm gonna have to use this as a clip because it's too much. This has gotten out of hand, and I'm gonna prove this later. Hebrews is a bloodline. It is an identifier, right? But it's not an identifier based on our religious beliefs. It is an identifier based on our affiliation, our bloodline tied to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right? So arguably, what that means is if your bloodline is tied to those people, that makes you a Semite. It makes you Hebrew, right? There's many ways to kind of identify it. And what that means is, even though you don't subscribe to the narratives that's being spun on what these people are saying, that these Hebrews on the street that's preaching the Bible and stuff like that, and what some people refer to as Bible thumpers and stuff like that, what that means is those people, right, are linked to these people by blood, not by faith. So if somebody were to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm a Hebrew," or "I'm a Semite," or I'm an Israel," you know, you don't have to. You're not supposed to tie that person directly towards the people that are in the corners being mean-spirited people. There's a difference between me calling myself a Hebrew and those Hebrew Israelites on the streets. All right. You have to talk to me about my spiritual beliefs and what I believe to be what my interpretation of the Bible, all that stuff. There's a whole thing. There's a whole narrative. There's a whole conversation that needs to be had, right? before you call somebody. I mean, before you label somebody as problematic for identify themselves as Hebrew Israelites. That's a conversation for another time, though. But I will definitely be using this as a clip. Anyway. So back to J.K. Rowling. I'm not gonna go over this letter. It's gonna go too long. But J.K. Rowling pulls this quote out of this letter. The quote goes this: "I've never felt as shouted down, ignored, and targeted as a lesbian within our supposed JL." My conservative is showing. My GLBT community. I thought it was LGBT. Let's just continue with the conversation. Our supposed GLBT community, as I have over the past couple of years. This spoke to JK in a specific way. I know it speaks to me in a specific way, but I wonder how this speaks to J.K. Rowling. And there's a talking piece here, and then there's a fan backlash, right? Andrew James Carter. I don't know who this individual is. Sorry. Since J.K. Rowling was blocked, any reply to this litany of half-truths and transphobic dog whistles, I thought I'd catalog them properly here. J.K. Rowling, the turf war, jkrowling.com/answers, turf wars, or whatever. Apparently this guy made some kind of combobulation or some sort of catalog the instances where he essentially added a whole bunch of stuff, right? Add a whole bunch of J.K. Rowling quotes into what essentially can be identified as what he is. I mean, whatever. I'm just gonna repeat what he said. I can't put my words together for some reason. He cataloged everything she said into this big talk piece, whatever. Paris Lee's, I don't know who this is. There's just no evidence that me being me is causing problems for any of the other women I've met. Sure. I believe that to be true. If there are ever any problems between women and trans women, they should be dealt with sensitively and sensibly on a case-by-case basis. That's true. That's absolutely true. I will literally say the exact same thing about my people. Whether I define them as or identify them as black or Hebrew or what have you. That's actually true. So my thing is, J.K. This has nothing to do with what J.K. Rowling said. It has little to do with what J.K. Rowling has said. J.K. Rowling is stating that there's a difference between trans people and women, right? And the fact that the world is not basing their ideology that how do I word this? And the fact that the world is not aligning that reality or that opinion or that observation with the reality is problematic, you know? And this person is essentially saying that, we need to, she's bringing up some case of, hey, what I do, like I essentially should not be lumped into this group of people that have been smeared or whatever. It's like, and like, there's been like, I don't know. It's like this person, this Paris Lee person, is trying to say that J.K. Rowling is, well, based on what I've read so far, at the very least, that they are in any way indicting trans folk. Like, there's no indicting of trans folk in anything that we've read so far. You know, the only outside of the reality that they're forcing their opinions and they're forcing their sensitivities on other people. They're essentially trying to strong arm sympathy, and we should not be operating on that in a society that's supposed to be progressive towards better results for all people. I mean, it's literally like, it's literally what like the past, or what is literally what the even today's dominated societies have been doing. It's like people have been using, like, throughout history, right? People have used government to enforce sympathies on other people. They've used their powers for wrongdoing, right? And apparently it's like these people they're trying to do the exact same thing that the past bad people have been doing, right? The past people in power have been doing through the government. They're doing that without even having power. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're forcing their sympathies on other people without even being in the control of the government. And people are falling for it, and people are going for it. It's
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. Anyway, Harry Potter, Mallory Rubin, somebody else, I don't know if these people are celebrities or not. Mallory Rubin says Harry Potter is about the magic of love, acceptance, belonging, the power of courage, the impact of hope. That's true. Arguably, that's true. I mean, I don't read the books. I saw the movies, but I didn't read the books. But sure, you can say that. I believe that observation, right? Trying to take those things away from people is a terrible tragedy. That's true too. Yeah. And then this person says, trans women are women. What are you talking about? What the hell just happened? What just happened? You were doing so good to say Harry Potter's about the magic of love and all these fun little things, and saying that taking that away from people is a terrible tragedy. That's right. That's absolutely true. And then you say trans women are women. Where did that come from? When did J.K. Rowling say this story of love, acceptance, belonging, and courage, all this other stuff? When did J.K. Rowling say this story is not for trans folks? What are you talking about? Stop. Anyway, moving on. I'm getting worked up for no reason. Test Fowler, I hope that. Please say something smart, please. Test Fowler, please say something smart. You're gonna get the clown. You're gonna get the clown honk if you say something stupid. Do not read J.K. Rowling's transphobia manifesto. I already did it for you. Every line is misinformation, fear-mongering, misgendering others, ignorance, far-right language, dog whistles, and pure hate. far right language? Are you kidding me? Can somebody in the comment section anywhere tell me where what she's saying is in alignment with what far right people are saying? This is centered talking points. This is not far right talking points. People in the center are saying these things. That is not far right talking points. Everybody believes this stuff except for the far left. That's leftist talking points. Feel me? So, it's not just ugly. It's just hate. Don't ingest this BS, I beg you. Why not? Is what J.K. Rowling has been saying is in alignment with reality. Get over it. If you have a problem with getting over it, this is your problem.
My pussy aches.
That is your problem. Nobody's problem. It is nobody's problem that your pussy aches besides yourself. Feel me? Moving on. And then we talking about the celebrity and industries and their initial response. Okay, so that was just okay, my bad. I wasn't paying any freaking attention. Those were the fans' reactions to what J.K. Rowling is saying. What those people say are so irrelevant is crazy. But you know what? Okay, you know what? Let me take that back. I'm gonna take that back. What the fans are saying is indicative of the current climate of the conversation. This is like what the masses are believing. You know what I'm saying? Or at least that shows that there's a group of people, or a collective of people that believe this stuff, right? It goes to show that there is a collection of people, there's a group of people that drank the Kool-Aid. Y'all know what I mean by that. So here's the celebrities. This is the influencers. This is what the influencers are saying regarding J.K. Rowling's tweets. All right. 78%. Who is this? The T.E.R.F Project. Who is it? Oh, this is I think the T.E.R.F Project was it was a program that's supposed to help trans folk with their struggles, and I have to go over it, but this is possibly a something that's beneficial for trans folks, and that's respectable. I do have empathy, right? I do have enough empathy, right, to understand that. Well, I have empathy in general. Let's put that out there first. I do have the empathy to understand that trans folk, right, are being attacked for being trans, right? Those instances exist. I'm not going to deny that trans folks are being attacked in America, right? It is that's just I'm gonna have to deal with that reality. I'm not gonna
My pussy ache.
I'm not gonna complain about my pussy aching because there's groups of people that are putting their money into programs that's gonna help people that they feel that needs the funding, right? Sure, that's fine. So let's see what the T.E.R.F Project is advocating for. I'm advocating for. Let's see what their quote is, rather. 70% of transgender and non-binary youth reported being the subject of discrimination due to their gender identity. All right. It's clear that we need to do more to support transgender and non-binary people. That is their stance. That is their observation, and I will allow them that. That is completely fine. And then this corporation, this group of people, thanks Daniel Radcliffe for their support. So sure, I don't have anything wrong with what they just said. They thanking Daniel Radcliffe for speaking out, and then they're probably some organization that's funneling money into people that they feel to be subject to a lot of violence and other things. Sure, why not? A lot of other groups have these same things. Black people have ours. Every nationality people have their groups and stuff like that that helps them as a group. Whatever. Moving on. Emma Watson. Emma Watson was the actor that played Hermione in the movies. What does Emma Watson say? I'm trying to brace myself. Emma Watson says trans people are who they are. Okay. Trans people are who they say they are and deserve to live their lives without being constantly questioned or told they are who they say they are. You say questioned? Okay. It's as I said earlier. If somebody is saying something that is not in alignment with reality, they deserve to be questioned. Because if we let these people say they are what they say they are, and if we let the slippery slope slide into a snowball of nonsense and delusion, that's going to have actual ramifications to society. It's just true. So, Emma Watson, when you say that trans people are whatever they say they are, and that we shouldn't question them on the basis of what they say they are, that makes you a clown, right? It's nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. Moving on. Sorry, Emma Watson. That made absolutely no freaking sense. And you gotta hold that. Emma Watson follows up by saying, I want my trans followers. My trans followers. Remember what I said earlier about grifting? Remember what I said about that? About how if you can't align, if you can't compare, if you can't explain why the things that other people doesn't make sense. If you don't want to take a hard stance on a topic matter, on people's observations and stuff like that, and you would rather just how do I word this? If you would use your platform to uplift these people, well, not uplift the people, but to pass on their narratives, right? And their and all this other stuff, that makes you a grifter, you know? That's what that does. And grifters should not be taken serious. It shouldn't, right? I want my trans followers to know that I and so many other people around the world see you, respect you, and love you for who you are. You can love whoever the frick you want. I have no problem with Emma Watson loving trans folks. And she can love them for whatever reason they want to, right? I don't care about that. What I do care is the tearing down of people that base their observations on reality and actual progression. That's what we should be focused on in a community, or as a culture of people, as a nation, as a world. But if you want to live your life in delusion, that's your prerogative. But I mean, tearing other people down for applying common sense and even advanced talking points and thinking pieces, you probably should just keep yourself out of the conversation and then just love from afar. Love those trans folks that you can't agree with from afar. That's what I mean. That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like they should do. But whatever. Emma Watson, yeah. Fuck, you're a clown. Moving on. Emma Watson follows something. Yeah, she follows that up by saying, "I donate to Mermaids Gender and Mama Cash if you can. Perhaps you'll feel inclined to." Okay, yeah. So she's using her platform to promote like these organizations that's supposed to empower that's supposed to empower trans folks. I don't have any problems with that. They can go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I have nothing to say about that. And she replies to that by saying, you know, putting up pride. Like I said, hey, if you want to use your platform to be nice and show love and support and compassion towards trans folk or any other group of people, that's your prerogative. I don't care. I don't. Yeah, that's completely fine. The Bonnie, what do you say? Grint, portrayed by Ron Weasley. I saw Ron. I know Ron Weasley is. What they say about Ron Weasley? Well, okay. Well, I don't think this is not this. This is Bonnie. Right? I'm starting to think that what did Ron transfer? Did he? What did Ron say? Ron said, "I firmly stand with the trans community and echo the sentiments expressed by many of my peers. Trans women are women. Trans men are men. According to Sunday, okay, yeah, we should all be entitled to live with love and without judgment." It depends. It depends. If you're spiteful towards the people that are living their lives in reality and basis of reality, and they question, right, the narratives being spun, they're questioning the narratives being spun around from influential people, then I say allow them their observations, allow them their voice, right? I don't mind anybody speaking their truths, right? But your truth has to be in alignment with reality. Moving on. Bonnie writes, I don't know who this is. If Harry Potter was a source of love and belonging for you, that love is infinite, there to take without judgment or question. Trans women are women. Not according to the definition of women, mind you. I see and love you, Bonnie X. Oh, well, Bonnie, I think that's the quotation. I mean, that's their, whatever. Yeah, so this person said, I don't even know what this is. They said trans women are women, and that makes them a... Moving on. Stephen King. Oh, Stephen King got in on the conversation. What does Stephen King say? Stephen King says, oh, God. Stephen King, in replying to somebody that says, don't be mean to me, says, somebody whose name is don't be mean to me. Let's just hope they are trolling or something like that. Everybody has their troll names. They say you should address the T.E.R.F tweets by telling us constant readers if you believe trans women are women.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, he said, hey, you have fans that are allies to trans folk. What will you say to the people that read your books about what J.K. Rowling has been said about trans folks? Oh, goodness gracious. Mind you, hey, what's up, new folks that joined the stream? Nice to see you. Thanks for sticking around. Please let me know about my audio because I've been having audio issues for the past couple weeks. That's why you haven't really been seeing me too much. Stephen King says, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Trans women are women. Please keep buying my books." Remember what I said about grifting earlier? This is grifting. You're trying to keep hold of the power, influence, money, what have you, by way of pandering to people that are whose ideology and observations and sentiments are in alignment with the delusion, right? You're pandering to those people for clout. Damn, Stephen King. It's down. I mean, me and my guys, me and my boys, we call that down bad. That's what that is. That's broke behavior. Like, a broke dude, you know what I'm saying? A broke man, says whatever it is, does whatever it takes in order to appease or to keep the attention of the women that who's sponsoring his life. We call those guys down bad in my circle. You know what I'm saying? And this is what this is. He's saying and doing whatever it takes to keep the attention of his readers who are trans. It's pandering. That's not a false equivalence either. Suck my ball. Anyway, LGBT. Okay, so these people create a program to look out for gay rights and stuff like that. I as a religious person that believes in God and believes in Jesus, have the empathy to understand that I have the empathy to understand that people are being targeted for having alternative lifestyles, right? And if I were to apply what I understand about the Bible into my everyday life, I understand that people don't need to be getting attacked and all that stuff for just for reasons that's not instructed. How do I word this? Because the Bible doesn't really advocate. Bible doesn't advocate for beating down. What I'm trying to say is the Bible. Nowhere in the Bible does it advocate for beating on people because they're gay. You know what I'm saying? That's for God to do. God is the makes these decisions. You know what I'm saying? That's not for us to as a people to come down to attack people maliciously over what they how they live their lives and stuff like that. We have the rights to disagree with what they're saying, which is something that they are trying to they're trying to fight against too. But that's besides the point. Again, I have the empathy to understand that these groups. I have the empathy to not have a problem with these groups being with these groups existing. You know what I'm saying? Until they start saying some nonsense. So let's see what they say. So J.K. Rowling today wrote a thank you tweet to Stephen King after he retweeted one of her tweets. She then deleted it straight after he tweeted a reply to a concerned fan saying trans women are women. Her support for friends is conditional on them being a fellow TERF, it seems. That is their observation. Whatever. I'm not gonna if the observation is based in reality, I have no issue with it. If she deleted a tweet, and if what this is if the motives behind the tweet is true, then sure. I'm not gonna take any issue with that. So what she says is, man, okay, so apparently, hold on. Well, let's just read it in order. I've always revered Steve. Okay, yeah, I believe Jay. I'm not gonna click on this because I'm not trying to lose track of my tabs and stuff like that. I believe J.K. Rowling says, I've always revered Stephen King, but today my love reached maybe not Annie Wilkes levels, but new heights. It's so much easier for men to ignore women's concerns or to belittle them. But I won't ever forget the man who stood up when they something, whatever. J.K. Rowling also says, Andrea Dworkin wrote, men often react to women's words, speaking and writing as if they were acts of violence. Sometimes men react to women's words with violence, right? Which is, come on, guys, get it together. Stop beating women. It isn't it isn't hateful for women. My brain is like malfunctioning. It isn't hateful for women speak about their own experiences, nor do they deserve shaming for doing so. And so this is what Stephen King retweeted and everything, and so somebody took issue with what somebody took issue with what. God dang, this is crazy. This is crazy. These people are really. This is really. This is disheartening, man. So somebody, what she said, is accurate. What she said, damn, this is really heartbreaking. She's expressing her concern for women's voices, right? And Stephen King is aligning with that. Like, he believes that he co-signs with this because it's looking out for women. I mean, you could probably make a case for he's pandering to women too, right? But when this dude came in and said, hey, you know, this is a TERF, right? He had to assume the position, right? He had to turn upright. When this dude pressed him on the matter. That's some other, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that because, like I said, what she said here, nothing wrong with it. And then and so I mean, I the reason she deleted probably along the lines of what the reasons I specified, that Stephen King looked like he's just trying to pander to people. So she, by her deleting her her new levels of affection or appreciation for Stephen King. Yeah, with her deleting that tweet is indicative of her disposition towards Stephen King, and arguably she believes him to be essentially a grifter. Moving on, man. So J.K. Rowling writes, I've ignored fake tweets attributed to me and retweeted widely. I've ignored Prawn tweeted at children on the thread about their art. I've ignored death and grape threats. I'm not going to ignore this. Tristan writes, who had money on J.K. Rowling pivoting to supporting those who call people who take mental health medication lazy? In quotations. When you use lazy, when you use quotations, you're saying that this person literally said that. That's what that's supposed to mean. Maybe we should ask this Christian person, how does he use quotations? But how it's supposed to be used is it's supposed to signify that somebody has said something. So the imagery, the communication you're parlaying to your community is J.K. Rowling is calling these people lazy. So let's move on. I take daily medication to function. This sentiment is beyond offensive. It is actively harmful to millions. I don't know why this person is taking medication. But he's pivoting, right? Using his own words there. He's pivoting this conversation J.K. Rowling is having regarding something. We're gonna get to that in a moment. To his struggles. We don't know what his struggles are. I don't know what his struggles are. Maybe I would argue, hopefully the people that read this from him does the deep dives as to understand what his struggles are. But people that take the medication for his reasons arguably aren't lazy, right? But what J.K. Rowling is talking about is something completely different, right? So let's see what J.K. Rowling is talking. So I have to set that foundation first because I feel like this is going to lead to some this disingenuous and being argued in bad faith, right? So, okay. So again, she says, she's not ignoring this. So she says, when you lie about what I believe about mental health, medication, and when you misrepresent the views of a trans woman to whom I feel nothing but admiration and solidarity, you cross line. Holy crap. I want to say this real quick.
Isn't that amazing?
I want to say something else real quick. if black folks, bro, with trans folks like this, who needs enemies? I said that wrong. With trans folks like this, who needs allies? You feel me? If black folk 50 years ago had, if this was a racist person, if we were calling racist people like J.K. Rowling, the world would be a much better place. It would be a much better place today had every racist person been just like J.K. Rowling. You feel me? I'd argue that Black Wall Street would not have been burnt down to the ground, and Atlanta would not have been a freaking maze. Atlanta's transit, not transit, but how do I word this? Atlanta's road system and road structure wasn't a freaking maze to the point where development of communities and businesses and all that stuff wasn't hampered by the simple structure of the way the roads are set up, right? That wouldn't have happened. It'd probably be like Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though Chicago always going through, I'm digressing. Let me just put that to the side. Arguably, the world would be a much better place today had racists 50 years ago had the same mentality J.K. Rowling had. This is crazy to me. She's using admiration and solidarity. Earlier she said she will march for them on the basis of them being marginalized and taken advantage of because they were trans. It's just that there's some lines to be crossed. There's some lines that were crossed, and she doesn't appreciate those lines being crossed. I talked a lot about Dr. Claude Anderson and what happened to affirmative action. J.K. Rowling is preserving women's rights the way black people have failed at preserving affirmative action. Okay? Moving on. Oh, wait. What? I didn't even read. Yeah, so basically what happened here is some dude was trying to pivot. Some dude was trying to say whatever J.K. Rowling made a statement regarding medication and trans folks and their need to use medication to essentially feel the way they want to, become the person that they feel they are inside, and try to make it a deal where people that need medication are essentially lazy, whatever. She never would use the word lazy, and he tried to put that on her. I mean, it's like I said, it's just people like take what, I mean, you see this happen with so many throughout history. People say something that can be viewed as a hot take, or that's arguably a hot take, and they essentially straw man their entire conversation and create a completely different narrative around it, and that essentially maligns their stance and makes them appear to be a bad person. It is an act of bad faith. Anyway, many health professionals. Okay. So here she actually I don't think I read this. She says, I've written and spoken about my own mental health challenges, which include OCD, depression, and anxiety. Right? These are mental health disorders. I did so recently in my essay, T.E.R.F Wars. I've taken antidepressants in the past, and they helped me. Right? She said this. So in response to this, she says, many health professionals are concerned that young people struggling with their mental health are being shunted towards hormones and surgery when this may not be in their best interest. Is this what this dude was talking about? J.K. Rowling is making J.K. Rowling is reporting on an observation made by reputable people, by decorated scientists and professionals in the field. These people are needed for concepts like peer reviewership, and all of that stuff. Like the things that essentially make science what it is today. The things that fine tunes past narratives that were possibly inaccurate, right, and needed further evidence and further observations from peers in order to essentially improve on the design, improve on a study, right? All she did was report on the observation, right? And that people, and since she has the visibility right now, because she was getting a lot of attention from allies of these rainbow color, the LGBT and all of that stuff. She had eyes from those folks and the adversaries of those folks, and she is using her platform to bring light and to bring usefulness into this conversation. So anyway, as I've said many times, transition. Hold on. Okay, so she's replying to something else you said. She says, these concerns were explored by the recent BBC documentary about Tavistock Clinic. Whistleblowers were talking about transitions driven by homophobia. Okay. She replies to that by saying, as I've said many times, transition may be the answer for some. For others, it won't. Witness the accounts of detransitioners. The system sees surgery as an easy fix to girls who do not conform. The people that are detransitioners, the people that resent transitioning, those people exist. And those people are also claiming that, hey, had somebody not coddled my feelings, had people not pushed me forward, had people not questioned my intentions, motives, and feelings, right, in times of need, perhaps I would have been pushed. How do I word this? They were on the fence about it, right? And with people in their ears saying that, yeah, go ahead and do it. Trans women are women. Don't listen to those haters. They jumped the fence. And then once they jumped the fence, they found out just how horrible of a mistake that was for they themselves. And that there possibly was alternative decisions for them. Bruce Jenner is a trans he's a trans woman, right? Bruce Jenner also chose to keep his penis, right? Bruce Jenner was not pushed to the point of getting rid of his package, right? He wanted it to leave. He wanted to leave some room open to still be able to use his penis. Some guys like having the fact of having their balls in the penis. And then there's people that went even further into transitioning and got rid of their penis. For some people, it was a good decision. J.K. Rowling is speaking to the people she's speaking for the people that believe that was not the right course of action for them. Okay? Let's move on. Next here is what's this? Oh, 1 second. Okay. Sorry, somebody just sent me a meme. um. So, J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling here said, okay, oh yeah, this is what she was mentioning, what she mentioned earlier, regarding the whistleblowers on the misuse and what's the word I'm trying to use? Yeah, the misuse, the misdiagnosis, right, of people that have a gender dysphoria or a gender dysphoria. Uh, Carl Hegan, possibly the whistleblower, professor in evidence-based medicine at Oxford University, has described the off-label use of puberty blockers on under 18s as an unregulated live experiment on children. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. It's like these. I mean, hey, if you're gonna experiment on kids, at least pay them. You know what I'm saying? But these kids, like, they come in with problems, and he wants to essentially, it's like they're science experiments to him. That's what the argument is. J.K. Rowling follows up by saying, none of that may trouble you or disturb your beliefs in your own righteousness. But if so, I can't pretend I care much about your bad opinion of me.
Ooh, bars.
Bro, nobody got time for y'all virtue signaling. Right? No, like, nobody has time. Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe, all these other people, nobody has time for your virtue signaling. Right? Just don't. And it's J.K. Rowling's prerogative to tell her truth and the truth of other women. And that should be completely fine. It's gotten to the point where, let me see if I can scroll up here real quick. I can't find it. Daniel Radcliffe. Here it is. I've never felt as shouted down, ignored, and targeted as a lesbian within our supposed LGBT community. Women are literally being. I'm sorry. I have to be specific. Lesbians are being shouted down and ignored and targeted. Ooh, excuse me. Because they won't date trans women. She is a lesbian who prefers women, biological females, for very specific reasons. Right? Not everybody is prepared to deal with the baggage that comes with aligning or attaching themselves with a trans woman. That's just is what it is. We all heard the narratives of what you bring to the table, right? People also bring baggage to the table. And you choosing to be a trans woman is a baggage because the current, I mean, you yourself understand the difficulties and the struggles of being trans, especially in alignment with the current socio-economic climate that we're living in right now. There's a large population of people that target trans people maliciously, right? You know that. Y'all understand that. That's what all these programs are for. That's what they're all highlighting, right? You should also understand that you as a trans person should not want that on your worst enemy. That you should not want that experience on your worst enemy. So you should also understand that aligning these all of your struggles that you understand, right? I'm sorry. What I mean to say is, with that understood, you shouldn't also want your lover to go through that, to experience that. Right? And if you truly love that person, you should want what's best for them. Right? Isn't that what love is supposed to be? Right? So, at the very least, please understand somebody when they express to you that they are not equipped to handle the baggage that you bring to the table. Because that's tough. Anyway, it's been 2 hours, man. And I'm going to end the stream right here. There will be a part 2 to this conversation. I think that's important. I do want to go. I would like to go over more of this stuff. But this stuff is important, man. This is an extremely important conversation because it's in my overall. It's taking a step back from this specific situation regarding lesbians in a relation to the LGBT community. Taking a step back from women's rights in general in relation to the inclusion of trans folk. Taking a step back from identity politics altogether. Taking a step back from opinions and all of this stuff, right? Taking a step back from all of this stuff. If we want to be empathetic people for real, we have to base our reason, our opinions, and observations and others to what in accordance to what makes sense, right? It has to be in alignment with reality. Because if we don't do that, right? If we don't align our opinions, reality, observations, if we don't adjust our solutions, I'm sorry. I gotta put this together. I'm just so worried. This is so concerning, man. If we as a people don't this is just so concerning, man. If we as a nation don't align our feelings, observations, emotions, statements, and other N plus into what's according to logic, reasoning, common sense, and reality, in relation to the basis of reality, we as a community, as a people in general, and I'm not talking about black people, I'm not talking about Hebrews, I'm not talking about Americans, I'm talking about earthlings, humans, right? We won't find the solutions that will lead us into man. I'm really worried because this is really that bad out here, man. Yeah. If we continue to let these people lead the country with the delusion and degeneracy, if we just continue to let this stuff just happen, it's there. Everything's only gonna get worse. And the solutions necessary to reverse the damage that's been done already, we won't find it. Damn. I'll catch you on the flip side, man. It's been hard thinking.